This is an artist rating. Could be about, you might be stuck as an artist, or you might be working on a project that you're stuck on, or your creativity is on like a writer's block, which is fine. My creativity is on a hiatus. So you can pick Hags, my voodoo doll I made, my string voodoo doll, or you can make uh, Sailor Moon that I made. Your choice of, inspiration. But whichever one you choose, there is 7 questions attached. So we will see what is going on with you. Hurry up and make your decision. I'm drinking my coffee. I love peppermint. So we're going to start with Hags. First voodoo doll I ever made. And your first question, I'm going to put her to the side, is your gifts. What makes you strong? What makes you unique? We have the 4 cups. Right side, right. So, bright sparks of love, blocked path, rejection, love, fountains of memories, mirror of time, unhappiness. So you could actually use your own heartbreak and rejection of like love interest as part of your artwork, or as inspiration that powers your artwork. Maybe you're an artist that sings, maybe you're an artist that does visual art, or you do sculpture where a lot of the body parts are missing, But whatever you do as a art, you take it to the point of almost being beautiful and a little bit sad at the same time. So, interesting. So your struggles, what prevents you from creating? What blocks you? We have the Knight of Oysters, which is the Knight of Pentacles. The Knight of Pentacles is a man over the age of 40, dark hair, eyes, wealthy, rich person, real estate, strong-willed, and tries to be helpful. So there might be somebody that's kind of like a fan of yours, or it could be a father figure that kind of prevents you from doing stuff because they themselves feel it's negating what they're doing, which is interesting. But I feel like somebody's trying to commercialize your artwork when it's not supposed to be commercialized. It's supposed to be more of a interest piece for those people that are like collectors of art, or people that really feel the artwork. And this person might be trying to commercialize your artwork into something that's not, or make it into more of a marketable situation if you're like a singing artist. And that's not how feelings work. You can't market your own feelings or heartbreak over a long period of time into a marketable commercial brand. Which some people never get that memo, but I'm telling you right now, it's better to have the purity of your own heartbreak in your artwork than it is to have somebody else's marketability in your artwork. So stay pure. So number 3, we have comfortable. The comfort. What is easy for you to create? What emotions are behind it? We have the Queen of Wands. The Queen of Wands. We have using your power, weak friendships, weak social interactions. Let's see. Manipulative and powerful first impressions. So you're using your encounters with people that might not be in depth with like your individuality or your own uniqueness on how you perceive people. You're using very shallow things to make your artwork, which is funny. Like when I think shallow, I think fish, but I used to go trout fishing in the mountains. But yeah, so you could do something with fish, or you could actually be making kind of like a parody mirage of like imagery that has something to do with finding the perfect catch. Like they using relationships, when you find the right person, oh, you got to catch there, type of thing. But I feel like you might not be comfortable with a lot of the interactions you've been encountering. You want somebody with depth. You're finding people that are shallow. You might be making a lot of fish um, innuendos, like fishing or finding the perfect cast or something to find the right person. But I feel like you're comfortable in that position where you make shallow interactions and that makes your artwork seem more relatable. But you should probably go into like more depth of coloring or of perceiving a deeper level just below the surface, like an iceberg or something. Because the the Queen of Wands is more of like a warm energy. It's a fire energy, so you might want to try to melt the iceberg kind of and try to see what's beneath the surface of people. So number 4 is uncomfortable. We have the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups is usually about options. So there's good choices made and there's having options. There's decisions that you're happy with. Being in a position of choosing from a variety and searching for a purpose. Choices, daydreaming, things to that effect might be affecting how you perceive the overall picture. But at the same time, you can create one thing, you can create another thing, but you can also create things that are futuristic in your perception. And I think you're just tapping the surface. What I mean is that there's like NFTs, there's picture digital matricing that is like a QR code. People can view your stuff that way by buying your QR code for like internet service or like promoting a thing. But like you can use your art for many different things. Like they can get a free song with purchase of this, or like you can promote certain products just by using artwork, which artists haven't been able to do for a while. But in the 90s we did a lot of that. I did a few of those things for like shoes. It's been a while, but anyway. Number 5, we have your past. What did you use to create, and what emotions did you leave behind in these artworks? You have the 2 of Swords. The 2 of Swords in reverse. An enemy you cannot beat. Arguments which go nowhere. Confusion, conflict, no right choice. Or were the opponent lesser of 2 evils? So you might have kind of been like the basic bitch of the group, where you kind of have an enemy that's not seen. It's more of a enemy of self. You might have dealt with depression. You might have dealt with bullying. You might have dealt with an addiction. You might have dealt with a lot of other underlying causes, like most people do anyway. Very basic level stuff. And some of you might have had more in-depth discussions about domestic violence, SA, rape, stuff like that. And I know, YouTube, oh, you can't use that word. I know, I'm aware. But you might have had more in-depth artistic views that might have turned away a lot of potential viewers, potential buyers, potential marketability, which, it happens. But sometimes you haven't found the right market for your abilities in certain cases. Alright, so number 6, we have your future. Your future, what will you create in the future? What emotions will you invoke? We have Judgment. Judgments, a white flag, a truce, reconciliation, renewal, making decisions for better or worse. So you could actually be getting into more taboo subjects, more switching roles, you know, like mom and dad switching roles, or just society in general switching roles, like from politics to citizens, and they're switching roles where they're becoming more of a priority in voting. Um, it's anything. But yeah, you can do really taboo subjects, but some of them it gets into more of, are you playing to the crowd? Are you really sending a message? Or are you invoking a fight amongst people that you shouldn't invoke a fight against? Um, but yeah, sometimes a little poke in the right direction isn't too bad. But sometimes it can be overdone. Like if you have a large following, it could be overdone, and then you know you can't go certain places. You kind of have to balance something. Because art is a very subjective thing. It doesn't matter what type of medium you're using. So just be aware of like your message and how it's gonna be invoked amongst a crowd. Okay, that's art in a nutshell. So your muse, what drives you to create? We have the Nine of Cups, the Raven. Why is a raven like a writing desk? So we have a happy romance, prosperity, bliss, well-deserved holiday, getting what you want, wishes coming true, satisfaction. So this could be a meeting. You could be meeting somebody. You could be meeting up with your family during the holiday season. You might be returning home. You might be seeing your old artwork. You might be taking pieces of yourself and putting it into a quilt, because people do that. Or you could also be conscious distributing. Conscious distributing means you're taking a piece of yourself, you're recreating what's marketable, and then you're making it into something that you always wanted it to be once it gets up to a marketability level where it's beneficial. I used to do this with my artwork. I used to make landscapes that would be actually perceived as if it was in a terrarium, which is interesting. It's hard to describe to people, but it was like a magic eye type of thing that was contained. If you don't know what magic eye is, you might want to look that up. That's fun. But yeah, I did a lot of that in elementary school. I was a prodigy in making something look like it wasn't. But yeah, I mean, my brain worked very different than other people's, so I made artwork that would actually throw people off a little bit. But with my artwork, it was always a purity level to it. I wasn't going to change it because somebody said it wasn't marketable. I wasn't going to change it because it would make people feel the wrong way. I made it so then I would feel like it was authentic. But I've always been like more of self. My 11th house is in Aries, so I'm number one. I'm doing it my way. It's my thing over yours, you know. But yeah, I've always been that way. So you have to pick your artwork and how you want it, group one, and hopefully this helped you out. I know hags has always been like kind of a weird character to choose, but it's always more enlightening than most. So hopefully this helped you out. I will see you in the next reading, and take care of yourself, take care of everyone, alright? Later. Alright, let's get down to business to defeat the Huns. Alright, we have Sailor Moon in the corner. This is group 2. And let's start off with your first question, your gifts. What makes you strong? What makes you unique as an artist? We have the Six of Wands in reverse. Six of Wands in reverse is enemies, abuse, trauma, snobbiness, and greediness. I feel like you might kind of have been one of these people that has dealt with a lot of trauma or a lot of things in your life that was against like how you feel. You might have been fighting against people that had different views than you. Maybe it was a parent or guardian. or maybe it was society in general, which is fine. But you really put yourself out there and putting what you feel is necessary to view and how you feel about it. It's more of a purity thing than anything, because you're dealing with your own wounds on either a canvas, a song, or whatever other medium like sculpture. So there's more feelings involved. Okay, so your struggles. What prevents you from creating? What blocks you? You have the Knight of Swords in reverse. The Knight of Swords in reverse. Compassion, telling the best, advice, solving issues, and expressing creativity. So you might be one of these people where it's like, I can show you what I can make, but I can't describe it to you, which is fine. Like, you feel your artwork, you can't describe it. Like, it's there, it's not in me, that type of thing, which is fine. A lot of people will do that too. A lot of artists, a lot of people that actually make music do that too, because some of their art goes different to other artists, or they make their own artwork that might be more indie music, and it might be a little bit more soulful, which, marketability, some marketability doesn't allow you to be sad. You have to be sad in order to make art, I think. In most cases, yes. In other cases, no. So the comfortable, what is easy for you to create? What emotions are behind it? We have the Five of Swords in reverse. The Five of Swords in reverse is lack of order, lack of commitment, toxic relationships, and choosing a side. So I feel like you always feel like either you're on somebody's side, you're choosing a side, or you have to be on your own side. Kind of like a battle. I feel like you're always on the opposition, because that's how you would perceive your own position in a category or in a solving of emotion. So we have the uncomfortable. What is out of range? What emotions are behind it? We have the King of Cups in reverse. The King of Cups in reverse is calamity, manipulation, clarity, and control, depending on others, flight, fighting for passion, fighting for a relationship, fighting for your belief system, fighting for a country, something close to your heart, something that warms your soul, something that involves you being comfortable, which could be a bit of a problem for some people. Some people don't want people to be happy, which is interesting. I don't know. I just feel like you're more of like, I want to feel this way and I'm going to show people how I feel, instead of actually telling people, which is a very interesting concept to have, because I believe that some people, when they make art, it's because it's either religious or it's like your culture. It doesn't allow you to feel certain ways, like you can't feel sad, you can't feel this way, you can't feel that way, because it's against religious calling or like cultural calling, which is, some religions and cultures do that, where the society controls so much of your life that it controls how you feel. Yeah, so I get that. I might not be hitting the nail on the head, but I'm in that I'm in that mainstream of feeling that way all the time. So your past, what did you use to create? What emotions did you leave behind? We have the Wheel of Fortune. Wheel of Fortune, good and bad, anything that can happen, fortune, karma, destiny, and changes. So you went from creating like almost like a cultural phenomenon called destiny and fortune, but fortune doesn't happen for everybody, and karma can happen unexpectedly. Karma can also carry over to the next life, which, if you have a lot of friction in your life, if you have a lot of different things happening in your life that you constantly feel like you're fighting for, you become kings and queens in your next life, which is an interesting thing. I read that somewhere. I don't know where, but I read it somewhere. um, which it talks about if you're one of the chosen people of God, you're always going to have to fight a war in order to proclaim yourself, quote unquote, king or equal of an angel in heaven and all this stuff. I think it was on King something or other. I think it was like the Old Testament king of something or other. But yeah, it's fun. I always love reading content. The Bible's fun. Any religious text is fun to read, so I would read something like that for uh, for just fun and for inspiration. You know, there's a lot of stories out there that have already been written that you're experiencing now, which is fun and interesting. It may have happened a million years ago or thousands of years ago. Okay, so number 6, your future. What will you create in the future? What emotions will it invoke? We have temperance. The temperance is balance, patience, acceptance, overthinking, and high goals, stability. So, you will have a moment of rest, and once you resolve everything, there's going to be a sense of rest. There's going to be a sense of, yes, I'm going to have to do this, but I can also rest on it and know that it'll work out the way it's going to work out. That's how I feel all the time. I feel it first all the time. People don't like this. People don't like my tarot card readings, which is fine. You don't have to like them. I'm not shoving it in anybody's throat. But I am raising money so that I can save animals. But that's just me. So anyway, your muse, what drives you to create. We have the 7 of Wands. The 7 of Wands is courage, determination, hard work, sharp focus, high inspirations, and self-trust, victory. So your muse is more of a challenge. It's like the end challenge, being able to say that you did the work in order to get to where you need to be, and you trusted yourself along the way. There was a lot of things that you might have had to sacrifice. There was a lot of things that you had to do in order to make it to where you are. It could also be a person that you deeply admire that has been through similar instances, such as yourself, and has actually had something to show for it. They may have had to walk through basically coals or like the biggest, mountain or something to that effect. But you have to understand the biggest mountains can easily be demolished by the smallest dynamite. Okay, so you're not out of the woods. You're just thinking about a new strategy. Okay, I mean, it's fine. I mean, there's different ways of handling an issue. You don't have to travel that far to have a result. You don't have to do certain things in order to make sure that it's resolved. You can always take a shortcut, or you can resolve it in another way. Don't use dynamite on your neighbor's house. I'm not saying do that. I'm saying there's ways to resolve it. There's also a story involved in it. You can write the story, or you can resolve it in a way that you feel necessary. Like J.K. Rowling, she was dealing with depression, and she was dealing with a lot of people talking at her. She made it into a series. She became very successful from it. You can do the same thing, or you can make a product that actually solves a problem if you want to do a parody way of it. But there is other solutions that can actually be your crowning source of inspiration. You don't have to use what your neighbor says in anything. You can use how they make you feel in a situation. Make art out of that. You can write a book about that. You can make a parody headline about that. You can just be comical with it. You don't have to be a lawyer about it. You can be yourself. Okay, and that's what I'm going to say. With Sailor Moon, the one that you picked, she was always herself, but she was also doing the right thing according to how she felt about a situation. You have to think about it the same way. You have to be like, I'm going to do this because I feel injustice, but I'm going to make it funny. I'm going to pull people to my side and actually have them feel like I'm the hero of this book, of my story, of this headline, of, just to make yourself feel better. It's called self control. And if somebody doesn't like your art, that's their problem. You have to do what's right by you and how you feel about it. You can't always be the victim, but you can always be the hero. It doesn't matter if people think you're the villain, you're the victim, you're the, part of their own prosperity. You have to find the force inside of you and make sure that you're okay. You're your biggest fan and you're also your worst enemy. You have to find an easy medium where you are the paparazzi. You see it in a different way. You see things that can easily be resolved, but at the moment in time, you're also going to turn a profit on it too if you need to. So just take what I said. Don't tell anybody about it. This is a secret. But that's how I do things. I like flipping things, playing the fool for most of it, but at the same time having a great idea of how to prosper. You have to think about that too. You can't always be the victim, you can't always be the hero, but you can be funny. You can be the Joker. You can be you can be also the Grinch. The Grinch is very grumpy at the noise that was outside his window or his cave. And just resolve it how you feel it should be resolved. The Grinch took matters into his own hands though, but I don't think a lot of people should unless it's like you're resolving it in a court of law or something. But there is a resolution in a lot of things. Okay. So anyway, group 2, hopefully this helped you out, and I will see you in the next reading. Don't do anything that's criminal or anything. Just make sure you have paper. You can make it funny. You can write a song about it, but you have to have fun. Okay. You can't always be down in the dumps because somebody wants to take away your fun or your sunshine or your parade or the butter off your toast. You have to be able to toast victory in your own ways. Be thankful for the day that was made for you, and make something that is of great quality of what the day is. Anyway, I will see you in the next reading. All right, later.